trend of people showing their hair routines. Now, typically, I don't really have a hair routine like on the daily, but when I wash my hair, I have a specific routine. I don't have a ton of product because your girl is going through the struggle right now because of Rona, but I have product left over from an old salon suite that I love to use all the time, and I'm going to show you guys how I use those, and I'll also let you guys know like how they work, why we use them, etc. You may also notice that once my hair is dry, it's super faded. Don't be judging my color. Don't be judging my color. I'm going to touch it up soon. Okay, so first and foremost, when you towel dry your hair, none of like this shit, okay? Like no, we're not doing that. What that does is it roughs up your cuticle, which is what we're trying to preserve, no matter if you have colored hair or if you've lightened your hair or if you have done nothing to your hair. So we're just gonna squeeze it out. Now, towels are super abrasive, and I know this. Other options you can use is like, well, from what I've seen is like cotton t-shirts are a great alternative, but I'm being obnoxious and I don't want to use a t-shirt. Unfortunately, I don't even have a blow dryer at my house right now because it is at my brother's house, because that is where my box of hair supply happens to be. I'm still gonna walk you through what I do though. I'm just not gonna actually spray in my blow dry spray. I use Pulp Riot hair products at home, okay? So when I'm going in and I'm about to dry my hair, first I put this in my hair. So the last thing I would normally put in if I was going to blow dry my hair would be Istanbul, and Istanbul is a blow dry spray. What this is gonna do is it's gonna help you tame your frizz, it's gonna leave shine, it's gonna speed up your blow dry. It's super dope. I used to love using this in the salon. If I ever have my own space again, I'll probably be using this again. I am like obsessed with this stuff. But yeah, it's really amazing. And so I put that on top, and then I would blow dry. For the purposes of this video, I'm gonna let my hair air dry, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the rest of the products that I like to use. Okay, so while my hair is almost dry, my ends are still a little damp, so we're not gonna put heat on my hair yet. I wanna tell you guys some of the mistakes that I've made in the past and growing up and just like not having the knowledge with my own hair. So number one, I used to, when I would towel dry my hair, literally just like throw this thing on my head and just like strangle my towel on my head. And I didn't realize I was roughing up my cuticle. So if you look back at pictures of me when I was younger, I wonder if I can insert one. My hair was like all the time. My mom was a hairdresser, but my dad was not. And my dad did not value good products. So my solid go-to when I was younger for my hair was Finesse. I don't know if anyone remembers Finesse. Yeah, that's what I washed and conditioned my hair with. Now, a lot of y'all will be like, it doesn't even matter, my hair is shiny. Yo, your hair is shiny because you have plastic coating your hair. Not because it's healthy and beautiful and your shampoo and conditioner are doing the most. No, it's because you literally have plastic. And if you want to test that, go to your hairdresser, ask them to do a buildup test on your hair. And if they scrape your hair and it is just white wax on the edge of their scissors, you have a lot of nasty buildup from whatever you're using at home, and that's just not the jam. Now, lots of people will also complain about, well, but salon stuff costs more. Okay, that's great. I understand that, but you have to understand what you're doing for your hair when you buy salon products. And typically they last longer. I don't know why y'all have this obsession with dumping out like 20 million pounds of shampoo and conditioner in your hand. I'm not saying it's everybody, but lots of us do it. Sometimes I do it by accident and then I feel bad because I have to like throw some down the drain. But you only need like a quarter size shampoo in your hand, and salon products are more concentrated with better things for your hair. We like to say, well, you're using less product, and you are, but that's because you're able to get what you need out of this much shampoo instead of whatever glob you typically put in your hand. That's my next thing. I did not know how to shampoo my hair. I didn't know there was a right way to shampoo your freaking hair. So when I was younger, I just took a bunch of shampoo and I would just shove it on my head and I would do a bunch of this and I would pull, I had really long hair and I would pull my bun up on top of my head and just work my bun into my like crown area. And I didn't realize that, number one, I was fucking up my cuticle. Number two, you're not supposed to shampoo the ends of your hair. And number three, like you're really just roughing up everything up here. Like you're being really aggressive to your scalp. You're being really aggressive to your hair strands in general. And you're gonna use more product because you think that you have to wash from here to here. And when you're washing from here to here, that you have to cover all of that with product, but that's not how you shampoo your hair. When you shampoo your head, you only have to have enough product to cover the surface of your scalp. That's it. So a good rule of thumb is that you shampoo scalp to ends, okay? And you condition ends up, but you don't go all the way to your scalp. The reason for this is because you are excreting oils from your scalp, right? And you need those oils. Your hair needs those oils. But 9 times out of 10, all of those oils are not all the way down in here. Now, you might have some buildup of like product that you've used throughout the week or whatever, but when you rinse all that shampoo out, it's gonna clean all that out. So you really don't have to worry about it. We condition from the ends up because this is not getting the oils from your hair. So you're really just filling that up with a lot of moisture and a lot of love, okay? And then you work your way up, but you don't want to go all the way to your scalp because your scalp is already conditioning the top of your hair, so you don't have to worry about it terribly, honestly. My favorite question is, how often should I wash my hair? My personal opinion, 1 to 2 times a week. Especially if you have hair like mine, I wash my hair 1 to 2 times a week for a couple of reasons. Vivid colors fade, okay? So I wash my hair 1 to 2 times and I try to use colder water because I don't want to open my cuticle terribly. I want to open it enough to wash my hair, but I don't want to open it enough to like let all of my color out. So I don't use hot water. You should not use hot water. I don't use freezing cold water, but I basically use like lukewarm, tepid water. Like I just use, I say as cold as I can handle, but it's really just kind of like cool. The reason I say 1 to 2 times a week is because your hair needs the oil that your body naturally produces. When you are shampooing your hair every single day, what you're telling your body is that you need to now reproduce more oil faster. And so if you go from washing your hair every single day to you've had a busy couple days and now it's been 2 days, your hair will more likely look more greasy and oily than my hair would, because my hair is used to creating the oils at a certain speed, whereas your head has been used to being stripped of your oils daily. If you're someone who washes your hair every day and you want to get into the habit of washing your hair every couple days, you can train your scalp. Trust me, it takes time. My dad used to tell me to wash my hair every day as a kid. Obviously, I don't do that anymore. Obviously, there's a transition in between there, but you can train your scalp to work with you, but you just have to cut back slowly. So I would go from maybe every day to every other day to then like every 2 days. When I was growing up, the only hot tool I had was a hair dryer, so it wasn't actually like a hot tool, but it was something putting heat on my hair, and my parents did not believe in heat protectant. Anytime you put heat on your hair, please, for the love of everything holy, either use a blowout spray or a heat protectant, something that's going to just make sure that you're not absolutely frying your hair. And along with the blow dryer with no heat protectant. I always thought that I was just supposed to burn my scalp off and burn my hair off. And I did the whole thing where I flip my head over and I'd shake my hair and I'd like throw the nozzle of the hair dryer like up into my ends, and it would just blow everywhere like a really bad like wind tunnel scene. It was terrible. It was the worst thing in the world. We don't do that anymore, clearly. But I'm gonna tell you guys the best way to dry your hair, the most efficient way to dry your hair. So first of all, product is your friend, obviously, okay? Spray some product in, not too heavy, read the directions on whatever product you're using to make sure that you're applying it the way you're supposed to, and then brush it through just to make sure that it's applied as evenly as you possibly can. And I will always recommend a wet brush. Now we do something called pre-drying, and there are some stylists who will just pull and shake your hair and right? But there are different ways to pre-dry hair, and they all have different effects. What I typically do is I will grab a wet brush or something flat, and I will pull the hair, and you want to use like a medium heat setting, nothing crazy, medium to low depending on, you know, what you can tolerate at your scalp. And you want to dry this portion first. It will make the rest of your blow dry so much easier, and it might sound like a lot of work, but it's really not. If you don't have a flat brush, which I'm pretty sure we all do, but if you don't want to use one, you can always use your hands and just don't pull too tight, but just pull and just really focus and just move down the hair until you get like those roots really dry. In doing this, if you do it following a towel dry, like you'll notice that your ends are already, you're getting them pretty good. So you're gonna do it all over your head. And then at the end is when you shine. Whether you wanna use a flat brush, a round brush, whatever brush you wanna use to finish your hair, at the end you can kind of cut your heat up a little bit, and then you can really focus on just getting your mids to ends dry. And it shouldn't take very long after you've done a solid pre-dry. But with a solid pre-dry and with a solid ending and a solid finish, you should have a really nice, sleek blow dry. You don't have to do all this fancy like curling up, curling in, going around, pin this, but no, you don't have to do all that. Just make sure that you are being mindful of where you're putting heat, how you're applying heat. Now, I will tell you, in regards to your pre-dry, how the direction that you blow dry your hair is going to be indicative of like the volume that you have, right? So if I'm pre-drying my hair and I'm taking this down, right? I'm just brushing, I can't even do this. If I flip this over and I'm pulling this down and I'm going like this, I'm gonna have a flatter, sleeker look when I'm done. However, if I take this 90 degrees from my head and I'm drying it up, right? And I'm hitting it with warm air, and then it's cooling like that, because you gotta think warm air isn't gonna like keep your hair hot super long, and it's cooling like that, I'm gonna be giving myself more volume. So when you pull 90 degrees from your head from any direction, you are creating volume. If you go up higher, obviously you're going to create more volume. Just be aware of how you dry your hair. Now that my hair is dry, we can flat iron it. Usually I would use clips, but all my clips are at my brother's house right now because that's where all my hair stuff is. So I'm just going to use a little scrunchie. That's not going to be it's super loose. That's not going to be like super damaging to my hair. I'm not trying to break no hair off today. For this heat protectant, different strokes for different folks, right? Some people like to spray down like this. I personally would rather spray up into my hair and then just like that. That's my personal preference on anything aerosol, if we're being completely honest. I have damaged hair, so I'm not going to set my heat setting up to like 400 or anything like that. I'm pretty sure my heat setting is at like 350 right now. And here's the thing, when you have a lower heat, be patient. So all I'm gonna do is come through here. I don't have combs. I know I'm like the worst hairstylist right now, but it's fine. And my hair is already pretty straight, so I'm not worried about getting like this root area. Now, if I were worried about getting the root area, I wouldn't even fuck with the brush at first. I would reach right in here like this and take a really thin section like this. Thinner than that. Maybe an inch or so. I would pull it taut right here, and then I would just focus on it for a second and then bring it down. That way you get a nice flat result up here. A couple of tips that I will give. Number one, I don't use heat on my hair more than once a week, maybe twice. But I don't use heat on my hair more than once a week typically. Look at the difference. I cannot. Anyways, I don't use heat on my hair more than once or twice a week. And I don't use high heat because I definitely think that slow and steady wins the race when it comes to the damage in your hair, especially if you've lightened your hair or if you've done anything to compromise it. Then you really need to be patient and safe and careful, even if it is a pain in your mother effing booty hole to wait. Second thing, if you flat iron your hair, your blow dry is going to play into how quickly and how efficiently you flat iron your hair tremendously. So what I mean by that is if you have like a really solid blow dry going on and you have really made your hair sleek to begin with, you've worked out as much frizz as possible before even going into your hair with a flat iron, then you only have to do a couple of passes at a time with the flat iron. Another thing with heat that people don't like to think about is that if you're not using a good heat protectant, it will do this kind of junks to your color. Now that's not why my color is like this. My color is like this because I was not lifted as high in the front as I was down here, and my ends and mids are much more porous than what's newly been lightened, and I understand that. So my color falls out in other places faster. However, if you're using heat on your hair all of the time, you will see fading in your color because heat opens up your cuticle, hey, and it will fade your hair and it will not be cute and you will be unhappy, especially if you are a blonde who just got a toner, or if you are a vivid who just put in a new vivid color, or especially a pastel color because those have less vibrancy to them. So just be aware of what you have going on. I also want to show you guys when we get up to the top of my hair, you can see where my color is coming out the most, and that goes back to talking about how we wash our hair. So I use Pulp Riot color, and I love Pulp Riot. I love the brand. I swear, that's all I carried besides Redken. And I only use Redken for glossing in my old salon because at the time Pulp Riot did not have a semi-permanent liquid, and I'm pretty sure they're coming out with one this year. So I'm pretty stoked on that, or they already have. I don't even know. I'm so out of the game right now. It's disgusting. Moving on though. I use Pulp Riot color. I think Pulp Riot color holds up very well. It is definitely my favorite for that reason, and I have been every color under the dang sun, okay? That being said, shampooing and just like regular, you know, hair things you do to your hair, it's gonna make your color fade over time. These are not permanent colors. They're semi-permanent colors, which basically just means that they will fade over time. So what these colors, these types of colors do, no matter what line you're using, these types of colors really stain your hair. They are called direct dyes. So what that means is that we're not adding any developer into them to lift your cuticle back open before we put them on. So they are staining the outside of your hair. You know, anything that does get within your cuticle, it will fall out eventually. Typically, when I put on these types of colors, we have to lighten, which does lift your hair, it does open your cuticle, but then we shampoo in between and try and balance out the pH of your hair and make sure that it's feeling really good. We try to make sure that we remove all the bleach. We try to make sure that your hair is prepped and ready for this kind of color. Now, before you put this kind of color on, we do have to dry your hair, which is more heat, right? So we have to dry your hair before putting this color on. And like I said, this color, it mostly stains your hair. It will get within your cuticle, but it's not going to hold up like a color that was applied with developer in it, because developer is meant to open your cuticle, and then when you go and you wash the hair again, you're closing your cuticle down, especially when you're using like cold waters. And typically when we color hair, we do like to rinse with cold or, you know, warm waters instead of hot water. So those are definitely meant to work a little bit differently. These are meant to be fun. They're meant to fade. They're not meant to stay forever. So understand that. All of that to say, I wash my hair from my scalp, like I said earlier. So what that means is I wash up here first. And because I wash up there, and because that's where I, you know, massage, and because that's where I put my product in, I start to lose my color at my scalp first. Now, that being said, that's also why I prefer to have my natural color up here. I have very dark hair naturally. I'm like a level 3 naturally. It's super dark. It just always has been. But even in the front, so like I said before, my hair didn't lift as high in the front because it was my first time coloring it. And the person who did it used a different technique, and it just didn't lift like to a super pale blonde or anything. So between that stronger tone underneath the color, plus shampooing up here, shampooing around here, all this, you're gonna see the fading start there. And this is one of the, like, all around my face, we did more of like face framing highlights. So those are the only places where like my highlights really went down to my scalp. Obviously it's been a little while since I got those done, but those are the only places that it went all the way to my scalp, which is why I have more fading in those areas, because it's still in like those roots to mid area of my hair. So my recommendation, if you're going to get these like really cool fashion colors, the vivids, the pastels, I don't even care. If you have a dark root, keep it. If you don't have a dark root, I personally would recommend getting like a root tap or a root melt, which is going to be a little bit of a darker color, just so that as it grows out, maybe use like a gloss or something instead of a fashion color, just so that you have a little bit of what looks like grow out in between, but it looks natural. It's not a solid line, and you're not just constantly washing off color up here, because people will get their hair done and then we'll say, this is how you take care of your hair at home, and then they won't take care of their hair at home like that, and then they go, oh my god, my roots faded, my roots faded in 4 weeks, you ruined my hair. No, temporary colors are temporary, and that is going to be the first place that you see that loss. So if you have dark hair, I highly recommend just leaving your root. Do like a really solid balayage. Do something that's gonna lift your ends and mids really well. Give yourself a really natural looking blend into your roots, and then you can have a really beautiful color on the bottom without all the upkeep. Balayage is like the least upkeep you can have, in my personal opinion. I understand that like your color will still fade and that will still need upkeep, but you won't be having to lighten your hair every single time that you go in. Finished result, you can see the shine 110. Look at that. Look at that shine. You can see the shine 110%. It's healthy. There's no frizz. There wasn't really frizz when we started. There might have been a little bit because I definitely didn't have the opportunity to blow dry my hair, but there wasn't as much as I used to face by any means. There's not, you know, you don't see any dryness. I mean, maybe in my ends, but them girls have needed, like, this is impressive compared to how my ends looked before I really started doing a solid hair care routine. But this is the difference, okay? And this shine is based off of amino acids, oils, aloe, like things that your hair needs, not plastic. So that being said, I really hope you guys loved this video. If not, well, that's cool. If so, then please give a thumbs up, subscribe, all the things, leave a comment, whatever you want to do, and be ready for the next one. On that note, I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Remind yourself that you are beautiful and empowered and smart and intelligent and capable and all the good things. And I'll see y'all next time. Okay, bye!